My wife's first love had been dead for many years, but she insisted on preserving his legacy, even at the cost of a private surgery, welding his legacy into her uterus. In the end, the surgery was successful, but my wife suffered a massive hemorrhage and lost the twins she had struggled to conceive. She photoshopped my face on our marriage license to resemble her first love and posted with tears and a smile, "Even if I lose 2 children, I will eternally imprint your love. My body will only ever belong to you. Even if I'm penetrated by a garbage truck in the future, I'll only conceive your children." Holding the miscarriage report, I spent a sleepless night drafting the divorce agreement. Ashley Smith secretly had the surgery behind my back. She was willing to miscarry to preserve the mark of her first love. By the time I received the hospital's notification, our 2 children were gone. I rushed to the hospital. On the operating table were 2 unidentifiable lumps of blood. So, that's what nearly formed babies look like. My vision went black, and a strong, acrid odor filled the air, instantly corroding my entire chest cavity. A man nearing 30, I was disgusted to the point of vomiting uncontrollably. Dr. Miller came over to console me, patting me on the shoulder, advising me to think positively. "Your wife probably has other plans. You're still young, you can have more in the future." My heart ached as if it were being eroded by sulfuric acid. Ashley Smith had chosen a private hospital and signed a confidentiality agreement. Normally, the hospital wouldn't have notified me about the miscarriage. But the doctor who performed the surgery was a brother who'd gone through thick and thin with me. I tightly gripped the surgical report, my body trembling uncontrollably. The doctor kept glancing at me with sympathetic and hesitant eyes. Ashley Smith had undergone a private surgery, and she was warned multiple times that the risks were high. I saw the video Ashley's Smith made before the surgery. She held a milky white liquid wrapped in a thin film with both hands, her expression as devout as if she were on a pilgrimage. Her eyes were full of affection. "Every time I sleep with that man, it's like torture, making me feel like I'm dying. I can only close my eyes and imagine Joseph Wilson's face, imagine Joseph Wilson's fingers caressing me, to feel like a living person. Only conceiving Joseph Wilson's child makes me feel like there's still hope in this miserable life." She tightly held the doctor's hand, filled with nervousness and anticipation. "Please, weld the legacy left by my most beloved man into my uterus. Even if I fail after the surgery and end up in a coffin, I want to pass away with his legacy in my womb, smiling." Generally, public hospitals wouldn't perform that kind of surgery. But Ashley Smith was willing to miscarry to imprint that man's mark. At that moment, my vision went black, and it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that the sky was falling. I don't know how I walked out of the hospital. My cell phone screen flashed intensely. I accidentally swiped it open and saw an update from an account I followed on Instagram. It was my Ashley Smith. She posted a marriage license. The groom embracing her should have been me, but his face was photoshopped to be Joseph Wilson. She recorded a video with tears and a smile. "Joe, you were right. I'm the bravest girl. Even if I lose 2 children, I will eternally imprint your love. My body will only ever belong to you. Even if I'm penetrated by a garbage truck in the future, I'll only conceive your children." This video was liked by countless overseas netizens. People from all over the world praised this great love in various languages. I only felt endless irony. A woman who has been married for many years, and the love of her deceased first love? Did she think that if she posted it online, I wouldn't see it here? On the way back, I received many calls from Ashley Smith. I rejected them all. When I got home, I took out my cell phone and accidentally answered. Ashley Smith's urgent voice exploded. "Why aren't you answering the phone? I don't want to waste time talking to you. $500,000, transfer it to me immediately, for prenatal care expenses. I'm pregnant with your twins. You don't want to mistreat the children, do you? Is that so? A mocking arc appeared at the corner of my mouth. Ashley Smith probably didn't know that I already knew about the surgery she had and the miscarriage. Just like she posted her great love online, thinking people here wouldn't see it. Truly arrogant, conceited, and extremely stupid. My voice was hoarse as I said, "Come back, I have something to discuss with you. Today happens to be our wedding anniversary. Such a special day. It's also a good day to talk about breaking up." After saying that, I hung up the phone without waiting for her reply. It was also the first time in many years of marriage that I had proactively hung up on her. This marriage had exhausted my spirit. I was extremely tired. Ashley Smith didn't come home all night and disappeared for 3 days. That day, I contacted a relative who runs a company in San Francisco. "Uncle Tom, about that project you mentioned last year, I've thought about it, and I'm willing to go. I also have a classmate there who is very capable in her field, and I intend to invite her to join the team." There was a long sigh on the other end of the phone. "Your parents have been waiting for you for a long time. It's good that you've come to terms with it." I felt a lump in my throat involuntarily. My parents had gone to the United States to develop their careers a few years ago. After graduation, I suggested taking Ashley Smith with me, but she refused, citing her unfamiliarity with the place. My parents only have one son, and they wanted me to be with them. But I loved Ashley Smith too much. I couldn't bear to leave her. So much so that I knew my parents were overseas and missed me, but I ignored their feelings. I was wrong. Wrong. On the 4th day, Ashley Smith finally remembered to come home. It was probably 3 in the morning. Seeing me sitting on the sofa, she was slightly stunned. "Honey, have you been home these past few days? Why are you still awake so late?" I turned my head stiffly, the muscles on my face twitching a little. She had recently had a miscarriage, but her complexion didn't show any paleness. On the contrary, she looked radiant as if she had gotten a rejuvenating injection. Where had she been these past 3 days? Ashley Smith walked with a slightly awkward posture, her legs splayed, her figure a little shaky. She had been dancing since elementary school, so her lower body wouldn't be so unsteady. What had she experienced these past few days? Ashley Smith's gaze swept over me, and when she saw the exquisitely packaged Monet's Garden tote bag on the table, she frowned in displeasure. "If you have money, buy me more designer bags. Don't get these fancy things that have no real value." Her tone was full of disdain. She probably forgot that she used to demand that I carefully prepare a gift for her every wedding anniversary. "Oh, right. Why haven't you transferred the prenatal care expenses I asked for?" Ashley Smith stomped her feet a little angrily. "Are you so unconcerned about your flesh and blood?" I retorted, "Are you very concerned about the flesh and blood you were carrying?" A moment of guilt flashed across Ashley Smith's face, but it quickly turned into her usual cold arrogance and self-righteousness. "I knew you were still jealous. You're such a grown-up, and you're still jealous of a dead person. Are you serious?" She tossed her newly highlighted blonde hair, and a deep affection gradually welled up on her delicate face with exquisite makeup. "You know that Joseph Wilson died saving me when that school building collapsed that year. A woman can never forget, as you see." Man, what's wrong with me? I just want to preserve the only trace he left in this world. That man left too many traces. He died, but his traces permeated my married life, everywhere, ubiquitous. The newly renovated house, especially the bedroom, was full of Joseph Wilson's marks. It was decorated everywhere. The corners were filled with gifts he gave her, and intimate photos of him and her. Even the wedding photo hanging in the living room had my smiling face photoshopped with Joseph Wilson's face. All her affectionate and selfish actions were treading on a man's extreme bottom line. Only because of love did I tolerate everything. As she spoke, Ashley Smith's tone became a little agitated. He had no parents since he was a child. Such a good boy, he only has me left, only I still remember him. I just want to leave his mark. This way, at least it can prove that such a good boy once came to this world, that he existed. What a touching and earth-shattering love. If she weren't my wife, I'd probably applaud. At this moment, all that was left in my heart was sarcasm. Back then, when the school building collapsed, Joseph Wilson did save her. But both of them were severely trapped under the rubble. I was the first to arrive at the scene. I contacted the hospital as quickly as possible. I paid all the subsequent expenses for both of them. Even Joseph Wilson's funeral was paid for by me. If it weren't for me, it wouldn't have just been Joseph Wilson who died. But Ashley Smith woke up and learned that Joseph Wilson had died. Joseph Wilson became the first love in her heart. How can a living person compare to a dead person? Not long after, she accepted my proposal. But every time we were intimate, she was unwilling. All she left for me, her husband, was a withered shell. In the popular saying on the internet, it's a living dead person. How ridiculous! I looked into her eyes and said calmly, "You love him so much. Why didn't you commit suicide with him back then?" I pointed out the window. "It's not too late for you to supplement your suicide now." Ashley Smith's expression froze. She wanted to refute, but couldn't say anything. Finally, she said dejectedly, "Honey, we've been married for so many years, and we have children, let's not fight, okay?" My heart sank little by little. Even now, Ashley Smith is still unwilling to tell me the truth. Probably because I still have value to her, monetary value. So she's relying on the non-existent child in her belly to deceive all my trust and affection. I should have realized it earlier. These years, it's always been like this. The one who gives is always me. And she just takes my efforts for granted. Seeing me silent, Ashley Smith came closer, her tone a little guilty and flattering. "Honey, even if you're angry with me, you have to think about the baby in my belly. I just went for a checkup today, and the doctor said the babies are very healthy. The babies know we're arguing, and they'll be sad. You only care about your feelings and don't care about me at all. Aren't you afraid the babies will make me uncomfortable?" She put my hand on her lower abdomen, her eyes full of anticipation. Strangely enough, I felt fetal movement. Sure enough, she's putting on a full performance. If I hadn't already gotten her miscarriage report, I would have been fooled. Ashley Smith's tone was cautious. "Honey, for the sake of the children, let's not fight, okay?" I was filled with exhaustion. It's come to this. And she still wants to deceive me. Seeing my displeased expression, Ashley Smith quickly snuggled into my arms and coquettishly said softly, "Honey, where's the gift?" She nudged me, pushing me. "Even though I came back 2 days late, you can't not give it to me." I didn't react at all. Ashley Smith realized that she was actively asking for it. Her face darkened slightly again. Because of Ashley Smith's perception, I should be the one giving proactively. It's come to the point where she has to actively ask for it, which means I, as her husband, am in the wrong. Therefore, as punishment, I should compensate her 100-fold. But I'm also a person, I have emotions, I get tired too. I'm really tired. I broke free from her, lay back on the sofa, took out a cigarette, and said wearily, "I'm tired from work, I forgot." Ashley Smith was slightly stunned. She probably didn't expect me to respond like this. She's too familiar with this tone. Because all these years, that's how she's treated me. Maybe realizing something, she softened her tone. "It's okay, I won't blame you. We're an old married couple, it doesn't matter." That's what she said, but she still looked at me with expectant eyes. I know everything. As long as I express that, I'll compensate her with a more expensive gift. For example, immediately transferring the exorbitant $500,000 prenatal care expenses she's demanding from her. Then she'll smile happily, and even kiss me, to reward me, her lapdog. But she's probably going to be disappointed, because I didn't express anything. Ashley Smith looked at me quietly for a while. Soon she discovered that I was calmly accepting her forgiveness and not expressing anything. Ashley Smith was visibly a little annoyed. There was emotion in her voice. Henry Thompson, even if you have any dissatisfaction with me, you can't mistreat the flesh and blood in my belly. She grabbed my hand and placed it on her flat lower abdomen again. At the same time, she also took out a baby ultrasound photo like she was offering a treasure. Two small, pink lumps, hugging each other. At that moment, the blurred image of flesh and blood in my memory surged up. The newly formed baby, with a nose, eyes, and mouth. When I looked closer, it almost seemed like it could open its eyes and smile at me. My face changed drastically, and I pulled my hand back as if I had been electrocuted. "Get out! Henry Thompson, have you gone crazy?" Seeing my reaction, Ashley Smith was also angered. She wanted to scold me, but her cell phone screen vibrated. The caller ID read, "Lively and capable assistant." I just sneered. Because my contact name in Ashley Smith's phone is boring and stingy husband, forming a stark contrast with someone. Ashley Smith is very special to this male assistant, because he resembles her deeply loved first love in some ways. That's probably why he's deeply embedded in her heart. Ashley Smith answered the phone, and the male assistant's voice was hoarse and sexy. "Ashley, I'm sick. What should I do? I won't be able to see you tomorrow." Without even looking at me, Ashley Smith immediately opened her mouth nervously. "Where do you feel uncomfortable? Do you want me to come over and see you?" "Really?" The male assistant's voice rose with joy. Possibly realizing that I was breathing heavily beside her, he sighed, and his tone dropped slightly. "Is your husband next to you? I'm sorry, it's my fault for speaking inappropriately. Is your husband unhappy? I didn't intentionally disturb you." "No, no, no, it's not your fault at all." Ashley Smith glared at me, then softened her voice and tried her best to appease the male assistant. I waited calmly. According to her habits, she would soon get angry with me. Sure enough, Ashley Smith hung up the phone, turned her head, and immediately scolded me. "What do you mean, always showing a bad face to everyone? You haven't answered my calls for the past few days. What are you throwing a tantrum about?" "I'll tell you the truth. I'm going overseas for a while to work on an overseas project, and Sean Davis will be traveling with me as my assistant. I might not be back for half a year, even though I'm pregnant with your 2 children. But a woman's career is also important. I can't delay my work because of pregnancy." My face remained unchanged, as if I hadn't heard anything. My eyes were fixed on my cell phone screen. It was a letter of appointment from Uncle Tom's company. What? A coincidence, she's going overseas, and so am I. Ashley Smith didn't notice my emotions at all and was still scolding me with a stern face. "To tell you the truth, we've been separated a lot these years. Originally, for the sake of our marital relationship, I wasn't planning on going. But look at your useless self. You haven't made any achievements at work for years and are just living off the money from demolishing land. If it weren't for me, would you be planning to sit around and do nothing?" What she said was interesting. Am I not making any achievements at work? If it weren't for taking care of her, who was mentally depressed and not working for the past few years, my achievements would be much higher than they are now. And even though I'm dedicating a lot of energy to the family, I'm still working hard, often staying up all night, and I've repeatedly received awards from my superiors at work. Looking at her face full of disgust, my heart sank to the bottom. Unlike her imagining that I would be unhappy after being questioned about my abilities as a man, my face was calm, and my tone didn't have a trace of fluctuation. Go ahead, I support you. In the past, I would have been very upset if my wife went on a business trip with another man. I would even imagine a bunch of things and be unable to sleep all night. But after experiencing so much, I'm already numb. A woman who doesn't have me in her heart. It's better not to have her. Ashley Smith was stunned. She thought I would still be jealous like before and stop her with all sorts of reasons, not letting her go. Looking at her stunned expression, I just said lightly, "You don't need to bother. I'll help you find whatever you need when you go out." Ashley Smith stared at me intently, as if trying to see any trace of forbearance and struggle on my face. After a long time, she seemed to deflate and slump her shoulders. Before returning to the bedroom, she suddenly remembered something and opened her mouth. In a commanding tone, "Well, remember to make a week's worth of dishes and keep them fresh. Remember to make them Los Angeles style." Saying this, she paused slightly, and a hint of remembrance appeared on her face. Joseph Wilson was also like this. He liked sweet things when he was sick. I was silent. Ashley Smith is from Florida. Where does she like sweet Seattle cuisine? It's probably for the male assistant from Seattle. What a coincidence. Both men like sweet things. My hard work and sweat have fed this pair of adulterers. Soon, the sound of rushing water came from the bathroom. I packed up my clothes. Then I left this house. Cook for her and her lover? What does she take me for? That's impossible. Walking out onto the street, breathing in the slightly cold air, I let out a long breath of the suffocating anger that had been suppressed for so long. My turbid mood calmed down inexplicably. Ashley Smith was right to scold me. I'm just a useless man living off the money from demolishing land. I have more than just this one property. I didn't tell Ashley Smith that I was going out for the night. Unlike the lapdog I used to be, reporting everything and updating my whereabouts at any time. I was such a useless person. I was practically a eunuch. As expected, I soon received Ashley Smith's continuous bombardment. I simply turned off my cell phone. I slept very well that night. When I turned on my cell phone the next morning, there were hundreds of messages. Ashley Smith made a video call. Her face was flushed with tipsiness after drinking, her eyebrows raised, and she was openly smug. I've changed my mind. I don't want $500,000, I want $1 million now. The child in my belly is yours, so you must give it. Transfer it to me immediately, and I'll consider forgiving you. Otherwise, I might as well find a foreign hottie with a height of 6 feet 1 inch and deep blue eyes to marry this time I go overseas, and the child will happily recognize someone else as his father. The sea. Hild in my belly is mine to give birth to, and I, the mother, have the right to decide who the child's father is. Ashley Smith has never not given me money when she asks for it. She was threatening me. In the past, I would have panicked. But now, I'm calm. Ashley Smith was arguing with me. Suddenly, a male voice rang out. "Honey, where's the hairdryer?" Ashley Smith was flustered for a moment, but she soon smiled happily. "Don't worry, I'll blow it for you." She forgot to turn off the video call. I saw a man come out of the bathroom wearing my bathrobe, and my Ashley Smith stood on tiptoe and kissed him on the face, and virtuously straightened his collar for him. The man seemed to have discovered my existence and smiled provocatively at me. "It's so great to be with Ashley. I'm always being taken care of, and I don't even have to shave myself." Ashley Smith seemed to have remembered something. Her body stiffened, she was a little embarrassed, and she didn't dare to look back at me. But the male assistant had a smug and provocative look on his face. Unlike Ashley Smith's imagining that I would be angry, jealous, roaring, and going crazy, I just smiled peacefully, and the calmness on my face couldn't be picked on. Ashley Smith turned her head to look at me a little stiffly. I just used your razor, it's not a private item, don't be so petty. A mere razor is not a private item, so what about my wife, Ashley Smith? After a moment, I said calmly, you guys have fun. I'm a generous man, and I don't mind Ashley bringing foreign men back. Ashley Smith opened her eyes wide in surprise. The male assistant said with a sigh, feeling embarrassed, Henry, it's not what you think, Ashley and I are just ordinary superiors and subordinates. Ashley Smith frowned and explained a little, that's right, it's because Sean Davis caught a cold and couldn't hold the hairdryer, so I helped him blow his hair. A big man who loves to exercise, just because he caught a cold, is he so weak that he can't hold a hairdryer? I don't know if Ashley Smith is trying to deceive me or herself. Now it's blowing hair, so what's next? Is it doing hair? In the dark, it seemed to confirm my thoughts. Ashley Smith is not good at life. When she was putting away the hairdryer, she suddenly tripped over the wire, and in a scream, she fell backward and knocked open the bedroom door that wasn't closed tightly. A crack was revealed inside. I immediately saw the mess on the ground, and the torn underwear and strips of cloth on the bedroom bed. It was really painful to look at. At that moment, my heart sank completely to the bottom. Ashley Smith screamed and quickly got up and closed the bedroom door. With a loud bang, the door closed. The door to my heart was also completely locked. I don't know when the video call was disconnected. I lay on the bed, almost numbly looking up at the ceiling. There were no emotions. The imagined anger, heartache, shame, and hysteria were all gone. All that was left was a heart full of desolation. An emotional desolation like a dead silence. I didn't sleep all night, and in the morning, I drafted a divorce agreement. The next morning, I went home. The strange thing was that the fingerprint lock wouldn't open. I spent a lot of effort and found the property management before I finally pried it open. The room was a mess, like the scene after a high. The property management looked at me with sympathy. I called the people from the fingerprint lock company. They replied that the default fingerprint was changed in the early hours of today, changed to that of an adult male, but the female fingerprint was retained. I was silent for a while. Ashley Smith thought it through so thoroughly. She's planning to kick me out before the divorce? I quickly prepared a pile of supporting materials, and then proposed to the password lock company to change the male fingerprint and delete the female fingerprint. After doing these things, I immediately instruct the property management, this house is mine and has nothing to do with Ashley Smith. Remove her facial recognition, and don't allow her to enter or leave the neighborhood in the future. If she comes to make trouble, just handle it according to the rules. Ashley Smith wasn't there, but the cheating scene was still there. I packed up the suspicious items. I put them in a courier bag, personally packaged them, and went to Ashley Smith's company. I put them directly on the desk of her good assistant, Sean Davis. Not only the used condom, there were also sticky underwear and torn sexy lingerie. I'm giving you the used goods. I washed them for you, you're welcome. Sean Davis's face changed on the spot. After a few seconds, he slowly said, "What is this?" "I don't remember." He stood up straight, pretending to be humble, but his face was full of smugness. "Come, take a rest. I'll pour you a cup of tea and talk slowly." He turned around and poured a cup of hot tea. The water dispenser screen showed 194 degrees Fahrenheit. He smiled, holding the teacup with hands wearing heat-insulating sleeves. I can fully imagine. When I accidentally burned my hand and wailed in pain, would he accurately capture my embarrassment and send it to Ashley Smith, and the two of them would laugh at me side by side? Am I, Henry Thompson, a link in their play? I didn't react. Sean Davis's outstretched hand froze in the air. The next second, I pushed him away, quickly walked to his office's exclusive tea room, and picked up the freshly boiled water. "Henry, you?" In Sean Davis's confusion, I had already rushed to him and poured the scalding water on his legs. Return the favor, you deserve it. Ah! With a scream, Sean Davis curled up on the ground in pain, howling nonstop. Are you crazy? How dare you do this to me? Ashley Smith won't forgive you. Do you know how much Ashley Smith cares about me? How much she can't live without me? You just wait for Ashley Smith to diver. CEU. I sneered. I couldn't ask for more. I raised my foot and stepped on the terrible part between Sean Davis's legs, pressing down hard with the sole of my shoe. Ah! Sean Davis's shrill scream spread throughout the office building. I sat in the office chair, holding a cup of freshly brewed green tea, waiting leisurely. As expected, Ashley Smith would come rushing in angrily. As soon as I entered the office, employees followed and made phone calls outside. A few minutes later, Ashley Smith rushed over anxiously. Sean Davis cried and complained to Ashley Smith about my evil deeds. That dying, only knowing how to act spoiled to women, he's simply not a man. After listening, Ashley Smith frowned and looked at me angrily. Henry Thompson, you have to give Sean Davis an explanation for what happened today, no matter what. Bang! I put down my teacup and stood up slowly. I waved my hands. Sure, let's get a divorce. I slammed the divorce agreement that I had already prepared onto the desk. Whispers came from the office area outside. Seeing me turn my head to look, they lowered their heads and pretended to be ostriches. Without even looking at it, Ashley Smith picked up the agreement and tore it to shreds. Henry Thompson, you want to divorce me over this little thing? Dream on. I shrugged, not caring. It's okay. I have plenty more. Tear them all you want. Ashley Smith's eyes turned red with anger. You just wait. Ashley and I had completely fallen out. I only felt a rare sense of relief. A few days later, Ashley sent me a message. I've already gone overseas. I'll pretend the previous things never happened. If you dare to cause trouble again, I won't show any mercy. A minute later, I received a video from Sean Davis. Ashley Smith's proud chest was covered in dense red spots. Henry, Ashley brought me overseas. I don't want you to overthink things, so I'm sending this video to prove that Ashley and I just have a normal superior subordinate relat. Ion ship. If Henry doesn't feel at ease, come check the room. Oh, right, remember to bring a frosted cupcake. Ashley is hungry. A location pin for the Hilton Hotel here was attached. Heh. Ashley Smith hadn't gone overseas at all. I only felt utter irony. I quickly typed out a few words. Just serve her well. Just as I was about to send it, I changed my mind. An hour later, I arrived at the Hilton Hotel. Facing the receptionist's obstruction, I took out my marriage license. The receptionist's expression changed, not daring to interfere further. But she refused to give me the room number. Of course, I knew which room Ashley was in. 1314. Back in college, whenever we went to a bed and breakfast, that was always the room number. Her habits don't change easily. And it was also a special anniversary date for her and her first love. She couldn't bear to change it. When I knocked on the door, I deliberately changed my voice. Water delivery. There was a rustling sound of getting dressed inside. The person opened the door a crack. Seeing that it was me, their expression changed, and they immediately tried to close the door. Risking my fingers being crushed, I forcefully pushed the door open. Henry, you can't come in. Sean Davis was flustered, but I easily pushed him aside. In the bedroom, Ashley Smith was lying on the bed, disheveled, with a tipsy flush on her face. When she saw me, she was flustered and at a loss, and hurriedly hid under the covers to get dressed. Rose petals were scattered all over the floor, glaring red. From the foot of the bed to the bathroom. Near the bed, the petals were stained with sticky fluid. The air was filled with that pungent smell. "Honey, why are you here?" Ashley Smith put on her clothes, shamelessly, and came over to touch me barefoot. "Don't touch me!" I violently her, my eyes bloodshot, breathing heavily. Seeing my ugly expression, Ashley Smith hurriedly explained, "Are you misunderstanding something? Didn't I go overseas?" But because of an urgent matter at the office, I temporarily rushed back. It was just too late when I got off the plane, and it wasn't safe for a girl alone, so I had Sean come pick me up. "This hotel is close to the airport, so I'm just resting here." "Honey, you wouldn't even mind this, would you?" I just stared at her coldly. Ashley Smith tried to see jealousy, anger, or other emotions in my eyes, but there were none. After a long while, she finally deflated like a balloon and lowered her head in disappointment. Sean Davis, who had been neglected for a long time, deliberately raised his voice to find a sense of presence and said, "Ashley, I'm leaving. Let your husband take care of you." "Wait, your cuff is dirty." Ashley Smith rushed to the door and took out an alcohol wipe to carefully wipe the stains on his cuff. My brow twitched, and my heart ached. Ashley Smith is a neat freak, and she never hides her disgust when she sees something dirty. The housekeepers we hired were all fired by her for various reasons. To satisfy her, I cleaned the house inside and out every day, and the floors were almost mopped with alcohol. But this Ashley Smith was willing to lower herself for another man. She used to be like this to her first love, Joseph Wilson. Now, she projects all her feelings onto another man, and it's the same. But when she faces me, her husband, she is impatient, her eyebrows droop, and her lips are pursed tightly. It's as if I say one more word to her, I'm wasting her time and her life. "Ashley Smith!" After a long silence, I suddenly shouted, "Henry Thompson?" Ashley Smith looked back at me in surprise. I looked at her, word by word, and said with extreme indifference, "We're over." I slammed the divorce agreement that I had already signed. Regardless of Ashley Smith's pleas and hysterical roars after her pleas failed, I resolutely left the hotel. It would be troublesome to file for divorce due to insufficient evidence. But I have plenty of Patty ins. Carrying the luggage I had already packed, I booked a plane ticket overnight and flew to the United States. The college senior I met in college came to pick me up in person. Over the years, she has matured a lot and become more intellectual and elegant. "Henry Thompson, you haven't changed at all." Our eyes met, and I suddenly smiled. It's been several years. But time seems to have stopped. The memories of that year are still vivid. Alice Brown arranged for me to stay in her apartment. In the following time, I was busy contacting Uncle Tom and preparing for the job. Having just arrived overseas, all kinds of busy things came one after another, and I had no time to think about anything else. When working online, I would occasionally look up in exhaustion and see the senior's concerned eyes. She handed me a cup of coffee. Tentatively, she asked, "Do you want to go downstairs and take a look?" What? I didn't react for a moment. It wasn't until I went downstairs that a familiar figure rushed over. "Honey, I've been looking for you for so long. How could you bear to leave me?" I pushed her away hard, took a step back, and looked indifferent. Ashley Smith was a little hurt and rarely showed a flattering expression. "Don't be angry. I can explain what happened before. You must be curious about how I met Sean Davis, right? That was a few years ago when I was out on a trip. I was almost washed to the cliff by the sea, and no matter how much I shouted, it was useless. It was Sean Davis who saved me. At that time, I thought that people should be grateful and repay kindness. I must repay his kindness to me. You may think that Sean Davis looks very similar to Joseph Wilson. I projected my feelings for Joseph Wilson onto him. That's not the case. Since I married you, I have slowly started to accept you and fall in love with you. I only want to repay Sean Davis. I just looked at her quietly. Sean Davis saved her, so she must repay him. What about me? I also saved her. But Ashley Smith almost ruined my life. An inexplicable fire surged up and ran wildly in my chest. I said hatefully, "Remember, we are already divorced. Don't pester me after the divorce." Ashley Smith, someone as arrogant as you, hates those bitches who cling to men the most. Ashley Smith was stunned. After saying this, I walked towards Alice Brown, who had followed me downstairs. Ashley Smith suddenly came back to her senses and rushed forward to grab me excitedly. "She's that college senior of yours? You've been with me for so many years. Why do you suddenly want a divorce? Is it because of her?" I struggled hard. "What nonsense are you talking about? The senior is just my business partner." Ashley Smith laughed as if she had heard the biggest joke in the world. She pointed to the hickey on my neck, as if she had caught some kind of evidence. "Then ask yourself, is she as clean as you think, just treating you as a business partner?" Alice Brown's face turned pale. "Enough." I don't know when Ashley Smith became so unreasonable. I was gradually losing patience. 8. Ashley Smith stared at me intently. There seemed to be a fire in her eyes that could completely burn me. "Henry Thompson, you are my man. You swore that you would love me forever, and I won't allow you to break your promise without permission. Besides, we have a child. The law will protect pregnant women. I won't let you leave me. I will never allow it." She grabbed my hand and forcibly dragged me out to the car she had parked on the side of the road. Slap! Alice Brown rushed up and slapped Ashley Smith to the ground. "How dare you hit me?" Ashley Smith had been high above for a long time and was stunned for a moment. Alice Brown rubbed her fist and sneered, "After coming to the United States, I've been practicing boxing for 3 years, and it's for hitting you, you bitch." Ashley Smith looked at her blankly, then looked at me. Soon, her expression turned fierce, and she stuck her stomach as if she had an amnesty. "I'm pregnant. Try hitting a pregnant woman." Alice Brown was stunned for a moment, but she refused to show any weakness. "What if I hit you? Come at me if you have a problem. It has nothing to do with Henry Thompson." Before Ashley Smith could say anything, her cell phone rang urgently. The caller ID was her male assistant. Taking advantage of Ashley Smith's distraction, Alice Brown quickly came over and dragged me away. In the elevator, she looked at my face and said seriously, "Henry Thompson, your ex-wife is not easy to deal with. We can't stay here for long. Let's move." She said I, not we. I responded vaguely. I just vaguely felt that Ashley Smith wouldn't do that. She's such an arrogant person. She's just making a scene today. She'll leave, right? Seeing me hesitate, Alice Brown looked at me, seeming a little embarrassed to say, but she finally said it. "Henry Thompson, there's something I have to tell you. You told me your ex-wife had a miscarriage a long time ago. But I think she's still pregnant." My breath stagnated, and my voice trembled a little. "What did you say?" Alice Brown's expression was a little sad, and she said with difficulty, "It's easy to tell if a woman is pregnant. Your ex-wife is very likely still pregnant." I felt like I had been struck by lightning. After that, Ashley Smith didn't appear again for a while. 9. And my work is also on track. It's just that my relationship with Alice Brown is always misunderstood. Every time I go to a cocktail party with her, even if I explain that it's just a business relationship, I still get a lot of envious looks. People in the office praised us as a match made in heaven. Even Uncle Tom patted me on the shoulder and said earnestly, "Alice is a good girl. You must know how to cherish her." I just remained silent. The marriage of the past few years has left me scarred. And the child in Ashley Smith's stomach. It's also a ticking time bomb. Before I deal with this matter, I don't want to try a new relationship. Alice Brown is very good. So she deserves a better man. A man who completely belongs to her. Alice Brown may have noticed my attitude. She asked to be transferred to another project. She also deliberately avoided me in some social situations. When our eyes met occasionally, they were always filled with hurt. Her eyes were slightly red. It's just that I haven't moved out of her apartment yet. There are always short times when we run into each other every day. The turning point was on New Year's Eve. Alice Brown came back from the banquet with a tipsy flush on her face. I had just finished cleaning. She suddenly pounced on me, hugged me from behind, and murmured my name incoherently, Henry Thompson, Henry Thompson, I like you. Don't be awkward, be with me, okay. In a daze, a wet and hot kiss covered my lips. I don't know what I was feeling in my heart. In confusion, I pushed her away hard. But I only took a few steps. Behind me, there was a heavy thud and her painful groan. There was no way. I could only go back and carefully carry her to the sofa bed. After removing her makeup, looking at that beautiful face that looked like she was 18 years old, I hesitated. My fingers landed on the tie of her coat. But I didn't take the next step after all. Changing her pajamas was not something I should do. Between men and women, no matter what kind of business relationship it is, it's better to keep a distance. Although this is in the United States. But a woman's chastity is also very important. I took out a bottle of vodka from the wine cabinet and sat on the sofa, thinking all night. Before dawn, I packed my luggage and left the apartment before Alice Brown woke up. I'm not that kind of person. She is an unmarried, high-quality woman. For the sake of her reputation, I can't keep living here. Rent in San Francisco is very expensive. But it's not like I can't afford it. I moved to a new apartment. I spent me time peacefully like this, until I received a call from the office. Henry Thompson, your 2 women are in trouble. 10. The people in the office sent me a video. It was Ashley Smith who rushed into the office and had a fierce conflict with Alice Brown. I couldn't hear what they were saying. Ashley Smith shouted and screamed like crazy. When Alice Brown turned around, she stabbed her with a fruit knife. Henry Thompson is mine. I'll kill you for snatching my man. Seeing this scene, my heart jumped to my throat. I hurriedly asked which hospital Alice Brown was in. When I rushed over and saw Alice Brown lying on the hospital bed covered in blood, my heartbeat almost stopped. Alice Brown, you can't have anything happen. Alice Brown was sleeping soundly. Called by my voice, she knitted her brows and opened her eyes in a daze. When she saw that it was me, she reflexively grabbed my hand. Junior, you're here. I'm going to study overseas in the United States. Can you come with me? I promise, I will love you forever and treat you well. Alice Brown had a high fever, and her lips murmured, talking nonsense. Only then did I realize. She was delirious with fever, and her memories might have stopped in that year, the year she went overseas to study. At that time, Ashley Smith and I were in a good relationship, and we planned to get married after graduation. That day, I received a message from Ashley Smith. There were no words, just a plain ticket. Attached was a picture of 2 white doves taking off side by side in the sky at the airport. Flying wing to wing? I understood what she meant. But Ashley Smith was my girlfriend. I couldn't make a mistake. I don't know what kind of hope and expectation she had when she sent me this message at the airport. But that year, I didn't reply. Having experienced a broken marriage, I still didn't dare to give a definite answer. I admit that I am a coward. All of Alice Brown's obsessions came from not getting what she wanted. But what if she gets it? Will she also become like Ashley Smith? But at this moment, Alice Brown's earnest eyes made me unable to say any words of refusal. After a long silence, I said, "Let's get to know each other again." A strong surprise burst out in Alice Brown's eyes. It was as if her whole person had come alive. I thought to myself, life is a series of adventures and a series of reincarnations. It's a reunion. It can also be a first meeting. Let's get to know each other boldly and see how it goes in 3 or 5 years. After Alice Brown was discharged from the hospital, she insisted on moving in with me. There was no formal status, but my ambiguity with her was well known in the industry. Without the constraints of marriage, we just dated. I was very happy. As for Ashley Smith, she came to my office again later to make trouble. And this time, she also took out the paternity test results. It was mine, and the child in her womb. The test results showed a 99% paternity match. In front of many colleagues in the office, Ashley Smith knelt. Her eyes were full of tears. "Henry Thompson, I'm pregnant with your child. I didn't lie to you. If you don't believe me, you can take the report to an authoritative organization for testing." I admit that I have always had Joseph Wilson in my heart. After meeting Sean Davis, that similar face made my mind wander several times. But I have never really betrayed you. Honey, I love you. Please come back. Ashley Smith looked so pitiful that even my colleagues in the office showed sympathy. Some even advised me, saying that there were no hurdles that couldn't be overcome between husband and wife. I approached Ashley Smith's face, which was swollen from crying. She clearly showed surprise, just as she was about to excitedly throw herself into my arms. I leaned over to her ear and said coldly, "So, has someone's seed in your uterus been removed? You know everything." Ashley Smith looked horrified. Her body trembled violently. And then she couldn't control herself and fell backward. I didn't help her. Ashley Smith fell hard. Her face was wrinkled and painful as she hugged herself, and blood quickly poured out from between her legs. And I just watched expressionlessly. Ashley Smith writhed painfully on the ground, like a squirming silkworm moth. She let out a broken wail from her throat, like a desperate mother beast. "Honey, please don't go," and I didn't look back. I later learned about what happened from friends here. Ashley Smith had a miscarriage. Or rather, she finally had a miscarriage. This third child couldn't have been saved in the first place. At first, Ashley Smith was pregnant with rare triplets. But she disregarded the doctor's advice and insisted on undergoing a dangerous operation. She miscarried 2 almost formed babies on the spot. The third child was also in critical condition. It was already the limit to be able to live in the mother's body for a while longer. According to Ashley Smith's original plan, the worst outcome was that I would reject her, but she could still extort a sum of money with the child in her stomach. It's just a pity God was not on her side. She miscarried very quickly. Later, it seemed that Ashley Smith was not doing well, and that Sean Davis also disappeared after she fell into decline. Ashley Smith had tried to contact me, but I blacklisted them all. I admit that I am selfish. To fulfill the promise I made when I was young, I had already given her most of my life. Let me be a selfish man and live well for the rest of my days. After finishing the project, I walked out of the office building and stretched. The sun in San Francisco was just right. A few coders were sitting on the chairs outside the coffee shop, complaining about their troubles in their careers and relationships. When they saw me ordering a coffee and walking over, they all showed envious looks. Several people gave me a thumbs up and took the initiative to chat with me, their tone disguised with envy. "Bro, you're so handsome, you must not have any trouble finding a wife, right? Although our annual salary is also $300,000, we are still not favored by the local white women, so we can only go back to here to find a wife. If there are any resources that you don't like, please introduce them to us." I just smiled. Not everyone wants to get married. Looking around, Alice Brown was feeding the white doves by the lake, not far away. Hearing the sound of footsteps, she turned around and looked at me. We both smiled. "It's good like this,"